Hey, everybody. We are late. We are live. How are you? I hope you're doing well. I had wanted to do another A-lister show. It's been a while since I've done one, and I had talked about restructuring the time because I really want to have my Sundays to myself if possible during the day. I have a lot to do, and especially trying to spend more time with my grandson, my mother, and other family members. So I really wanted to take back my Sundays and not have the 3 p.m. slot for my A-listers, but I did miss doing the show. And I started a new series called Heart to Heart with Thelma and Friends, and that's Monday nights at 7 p.m. Hopefully by 7 I get home and we sit down and just kind of do a little chit chat, powwow sort of show. And I really didn't want to kind of substitute one for the other. I do really miss both of them, or I enjoy doing both of them, and I miss doing the A-listers. And I talked about last week in my heart to heart about running into a girl who sold on Posh over at the Goodwill. And it's very unusual for me to actually just strike up a conversation with someone who's a reseller. That's not something I normally do. I don't go up to people and ask them if they're resellers or anything like that. And I do notice a few. I notice a lot more nowadays, though. So anyway, we started talking because we were a little bit late at that particular Goodwill. They decided to stay open a little bit later. And as you may or may not know, many Goodwills are pretty much laissez-faire about the way they run their business. They can close when they want. They can open when they want. I think they have a regional manager. I don't really know exactly what the ins and outs are, but they do have quite a bit of flexibility in their hours. So that's what happened that day, and that's what I want to bring to the table today. How is your business going in reselling? And how have you seen it change this year so far? Did it end with a bang? What are you seeing in that respect? And are you a reseller even? I know I get a lot of viewership from people who just want to do the jars, and that's perfectly fine. But I know a lot of people that have just started the jewelry love affair, so to speak, quickly come to learn that it can be a hoard pretty fast. So I'm going to say hello to a couple of people as soon as I take a swig of this hot coffee before it gets cold. It tends to get cold with these wide mouth cups pretty quickly. I was going to plug in my microphone. I forgot. But I'm going to do some recorded videos in a little bit too. All right. Pearl is here. Sarah Rose. Rambling Hick. Roxanne. How are you, Roxanne? Glad you got. Be sure and hit that thumbs up. I know it's late right now. It's 8 o'clock here. Not that late here, but maybe across the way over there. It might be a little bit later. So I don't know how many people will get in here. But anyway, what I was talking about with her was Poshmark, because we were looking at clothes. She was complimenting me on my shoes and my coat. And I was telling her I bought it. I bought my shoes on Poshmark and asked her if she bought things on Poshmark. And she said no, because she sold on Poshmark. So it came up really, really kind of just spontaneous. And that's why we were talking about that. And we were also noting the fact, and maybe you can tell me about Etsy. I know Perla sells on Etsy, but have you found a dwindling in your business because of the new tax thing? I know I've asked a couple of people about that, and they said no, that, it's all kind of across the board, but I really have. And then now I believe Etsy has even gone, no, not Etsy, Poshmark has even gone a little higher on their shipping. So every time I'm looking at on Poshmark, I'm thinking I'm going to pay $10 more. I'm basically paying $10 more to buy it, whether it's a ring that only costs $3 or $4, much, maybe even $5, depending if you live in California, to ship it. And I'm having to pay almost $7, even $8. I think it's gone up to close to $8, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. Tag onto that, the taxes, and you're looking at approximately $10 more for anything you buy. So I'm not looking there first thing anymore. I'm really not for jewelry anyway. And even not for dresses. Now, maybe boots or something that, maybe a little bit heavier and worth the shipping, but I'm just not doing that anymore. I really find that it can be hurting the business. And that's what she said, that she's really disappointed, even though she still sells there quite a bit and she's got kind of a niche already. So she's not really, abandoning ship or anything, but she's finding it difficult to pick up that momentum again that she once knew existed there. And she said that that's the thing about eBay, and what people still love about eBay is that you can choose to your own shipping. I mean, it's just a lot more flexible that way. I don't think it's got all of those restrictions that Poshmark seems to have. And then she said that the lack of returns also turns people off over as a buyer over on Poshmark, because you can't just return it because it didn't fit. And that's what eBay has adopted, that now they will take it back. Even though you put no returns, they're going to take it back. So, hey guys, be sure and hit that thumbs up as you walk in the door. I really appreciate you walking in. Cookies Cachets here. Thank you so much. How are you? Thank you. This is a piece I did pull out of a jar, guys, and I had it restrung, but it was done very shoddily, and I have to get it done again. I'm going to probably send it off to a place. I'm trying to find a place locally, see if they can do it. They just didn't do what I expected them to do with it, and so I'm going to have it redone. But I do love it. It is a beautiful, genuine piece. It was an unfinished piece that I found in a jewelry jar, incredibly so. So I do appreciate that. The earrings are some that I've had for probably 30 years, quite a long time. Um, they are liquid silver with coral. So anyway, that's what she has said, is that she finds that it's really difficult to to sell on Posh. That she's seen a dwindle in her sales, like new sales, but she has like a steady clientele that knows that she finds, their size, or she finds a certain style designer that they want. So she does continue to sell there, but she really is disappointed with the way they haven't kept up with other platforms as far as favoring the buyer. We're always saying, oh, they only favor the buyer, they only favor the buyer. Well, buyers are stopping. They're not going to Posh. In my opinion, they're not going to Posh as much as they used to, because of that reason. Now, maybe I'm just seeing it from my perspective, but I am a seller there as well. I don't see that many sales over there like I used to. I'm not listing consistently over there either, so I'm really not in a position to criticize it right now. But yes, all the platforms are definitely different, Elizabeth. They're definitely different. If I were a new seller, I would say that eBay is one of the easiest ones to learn. You don't have to share. You don't have to do any of that. Sharing is really a big part of Poshmark. And if you're not, inclined to do that with your time, it's not going to be something that you're going to get used to or enjoy. Macari is really fabulous for jewelry. I've mentioned that a few times for good sterling silver jewelry, Native American jewelry, James Avery, even costume. But more, I feel like people really want to go over there and find a bargain. So they go over there and search for your Native American, your James Avery. I mean, they even have, the alerts where they'll let you know that they just listed a James Avery or whatnot, and they immediately tell you it's been sold within an hour. I mean, 10 minutes things sell. So jewelry is really, really a good thing to do over on Macari. But again, you have to be used to using those apps. If you're not used to using them and you don't see how they're targeted to not only fee you to death, where they're going to try to get you to put an automatic renewal, or they want you to use their shipping when you can actually pick your own shipping, but you don't see that one little button that says, yes, I want to choose my own shipping, and yes, I confirm that and submit and all of that. Pretty soon you wind up with an extra, $1 or $2 in fees. Thank you, Lisa. Roxanne is here too, and that was Liz asking the question about eBay and all the others. But she was saying that a couple of other tips, that because people sell all kinds of different things on Posh. Now you can sell home decor as well. That's a good thing, I think, that we can do there now. But she was talking about picking up a niche that, a lot of people know that there's a market for kids' clothes, good kids' clothes. I'm not talking about Target or anything like that. I'm talking about Nordstrom brands, the Mini Bowdens and the Hannah Andersons, or all those other brands that you may see at Nordstrom's and all of that. Look through the catalog so you can get to know those brands. That kind of stuff you can definitely find at Goodwills, and you can find them in great condition, and you can even find them donated directly from the store tagged. I have. But she was saying that people also need to get to know that that's what you do, so that way they keep coming back to you. So she had a couple of people that know that she sells this type of designer clothes, or she specializes in boots. So they put you down as their favorites. And so that's the good thing about Posh. There is that little niche, kind of a social networking type of thing. And the people still like to trade, even though they don't actually condone that. But people know she carries a lot of Louis Vuitton, or she's always buying the latest shoes, so they go and look for that. So that's the one thing that I don't think eBay has. But again, your casual, everyday buyer that just likes to buy online, they're not inclined to go to Posh, I think, as easily as they used to, ever since they started tagging on the tax and tagging on that extra shipping, and they just went up with shipping. Not only, the automatic shipping excuse me, that you can get from Posh, but just in general, buying shipping. Like right now, I was going to show you guys this, because this is old school. This is actually, not only is it old school, it's OG. I just sold these for $50, and I'm going to pull them out of here because they didn't quite fit as well as they could. But there's some old methods that people use, like they can heat it up with and they can stick it in here, because this is going, they're not very heavy. I may just go ahead and put them in a box because they're not a big size, but they're Adidas, and they can go in this flat rate for $8. Now I probably can't pull them out. They're an old school black Adidas. Here they come. And I wanted to ship them in here so I don't have to pay $12 to ship them. These are them here. And I had actually bought my nephew's closet out. I think I mentioned to you guys, I took you on that ride along when we did it. He had moved out of it. He's already 30. He moved out of his mother's house quite a long time ago, but he left all of his stuff in the closet. And he was the type of guy that loved, sneakerhead, right? Loved the sneakers. And he has a lot of the Air Jordans and whatever, all kinds, but these were the old school Adidas. And so that I won't have to pay $12. I'm going to try to put them in this flat rate, right? And so that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. With, things are still selling. This is also eBay. I forgot where I was going with that train of thought about Adidas. Maybe y'all can remind me. But anyway, so I was trying to cut corners. I'm still going to try to fit them in there so I don't have to pay $12 to $15 to ship these. I can pay $8 with the flat shipping rate. But I'm going to see if I can squeeze them in there. I think I can. They're like a size 8, so they should be able to fit in here. And I have been able to put platforms in those as well. Can I answer the question? What was the question? A phone number. I don't sell here on YouTube. I sell on eBay, Etsy, Poshmark, and all of that. So no, I don't have a direct phone number for purchase like that. Any other questions, guys? Anyway, that's what I sold today. I also sold, well, of course, jewelry and all of that. But and this is the kind of stuff you might want to put on Mercari too, because they have a much more lenient shipping prices over there as well. Not lenient, but they're a little bit less. But I get a little bit of a discount with my shipping for being a power seller on eBay. That's why I can ship them for $8, 7 something actually, with the discounted rate. Thank you, Joellen. I appreciate it. But I bought that closet out, guys, and still selling the jerseys and T-shirts that were in there. Lots of wrestling shirts, all of that kind of stuff. So still doing okay with that. Those have been up for a while. I did reduce them. I think I had a lot of these shoes up for $80, and I took a best offer of $50 on these. But again, these were in excellent condition. These are actually going to Japan, and I have found that the small sizes Anywhere from 7 to 8 in men's, go to Asia. More than anywhere. And I have found that the small sizes, anywhere from 7 to 8 in men's, go to Asia. More than anywhere else. The people in here, Roxanne, of course, and Perla. Lisa B, how are you? The Adidas, yeah. Well, he still has mostly the Air Jordans and all of that, Adidas, a few of those. And I think this is probably the last of the Adidas, but I've sold most of them. So it's been going well with that. But the niche market, again, like I was saying about the kids, if you get to know a certain group in that social circle of Poshmark, they know what you buy, they know what you're selling, so they wind up looking for your closet. But other than that, the casual buyer is just not I mean, in my opinion, they're just not going over there as much as they used to. I really think that they have kind of priced themselves out of the market. I think, like I said, their policies are very different for returns. If I'm selling you this cup and it has a lipstick mark on it and you can see it, let's say, or a little crack, and you can see it on the picture, but I didn't disclose it, you don't necessarily have to take it back. They will usually side with the seller on that and say, well, you had a picture of it. It was pictured. You should have known. So they won't take it back. And that's what I'm saying about the way eBay's policies really do favor the buyer, which in turn is actually favoring the seller, because people are not inclined to go to buy from you if they know that they can, if it's not going to fit. It's already a risk when you buy clothing online. So if it's not going to fit, and maybe you didn't say that it actually ran smaller than it was, all of those little things really count in purchasing and returning, and in happy, returning customers to Poshmark. And they don't seem to have that the way eBay does. And we went kicking and screaming with eBay's changing policies. But I think in the end, we all benefit when we have happy buyers. That was really my point. So that's what she was talking about there. And another thing, when Elizabeth just talked about so many platforms, another point I wanted to make today was not a year ago, maybe a few months ago, I had mentioned that there was an app that will help you cross post. And I do a lot of cross posting. I list on eBay, Etsy, lots of different Mercari, and I would take the same item and sell it, list it on different places, and then it would sell and I would remove it. Well, that lady was telling me that another reason Poshmark has suffered buyers, in her opinion, and she is a pretty big time seller. I mean, she had two big shopping carts full of clothing that were not for her. They were for selling. Was that they don't take them back as easily. Hold on. I think I'm getting a blank here. Are you guys still there? Hey, Jen Bennett, how are you? Okay, good. I don't see the chat moving. Okay, so the multi-platforms. So she says that a lot of people have the multi-platforms now. And I forgot what the name of it is, but everybody's using it now. You put in all your stuff, it lists you on eBay, it lists you on Poshmark, and supposedly it takes you off of there as well. But a lot of times it could make a mistake, or maybe you're even going in there to double check that they do it right. You're wasting time doing that. But she was saying that a lot of times all this multi-listing, it's already sold. It's already been sold over on eBay, and you haven't removed it from Poshmark. And she's finding that that is hurting her business on Poshmark, because people are disappointed that they go in there, they're looking for this certain particular dress, they found it, they go on to click it. And a lot of times people don't even like to remove it from there, because you do not have to remove your items if they sell otherwise, they'll just stay on Posh. And they even put the ones that are already sold, they're still on there, so they're considered listings. But anyway, she's saying that that's really denigrating the platform, because, and it's true. I mean, I have definitely made that boo-boo and forgotten to take it off. It's sold on Posh, and there's a disappointed buyer. There's an angry buyer. She's not happy that you just sold it on eBay and you still have it on Posh. So even though there's no money transacted, there's nothing like that going on. But it's just a bummer when that happens, you know? So that's what she was saying about Poshmark, that these multi-platforms and people listing in multi-places are hurting her business on Poshmark. This was, again, straight from the horse's mouth. This is just someone I ran into at the Goodwill. Hey, Anita, how are you? At the Goodwill, talking about clothing and fashion, because she had these 2 huge baskets full of clothing, and she was complimenting me on a coat and some shoes I had. I asked her if she bought on Posh. She said, no, I'm actually a seller there. Why? It would be very counterproductive of me to be a buyer there. So we started talking about it, and I thought she made some great points, and that's why I wanted to bring you an A-listers tonight to bring those up. One was the multi-platforms, how it's hindering the Posh buyer, that they're very disappointed when they go in there and they find out you sold it on eBay. Another thing is the niche market, how they do get to know what you sell. Like Anita sells over on Etsy, and I guarantee you I know I follow people on Etsy. I guarantee you she's got people that have put her store as a favorite, and then they get that notification, oh, Anita just put up some jewelry. So they go and check it out. I know I used to have some favorites on eBay as well, and I couldn't wait to see what new things they had put on there. But not only that, I am a proponent of multi-listing in other platforms, but I've come to realize that we do spread ourselves thin, and that we are not that great at multitasking. So maybe it's not a bad idea to stick to one platforms at the most and really, really engage with it. I think we'll see a lot more commerce. I think we'll see a lot more activity when we do that. I found that happened the other day when I actually was given a really nice light box from a company. I reviewed it in a video, but I sat down and I took about 40 pictures that day. I put them all up on eBay. I think I only put like 2 up on Etsy. And I did make about 3 or 4 sales that week, but it's because I dedicated myself to listing on that one particular platform. I wasn't confused about whether I had put it on this one and that one. And then, like I said, it's not as easy as you think to cross post, even with the new apps that are out there. People are having issues with them being taken off once they sell. People have issues with delegating power. I mean, I'm a little OCD about my things. I double check everything like 3 times at work to make sure I sent this to that and this one got that. So all of that plays into your time consumption as you list. What do you guys think? Are y'all multi-platform listers, or do you just love a certain one? Have you established a good rapport with your buyers there? But then again, I love to sell so many different things, from Adidas, old school, OGs, I guess they would call these, to jewelry. There's just so much out there. And even the glass, I got into the glassware. This is what I took a lot of pictures of in that box. And I did sell a couple of Jim Shore puppies. And what else did I sell? I sold a teapot from Tiavana that I bought for like $3 or $4, about $25, a teeny little teapot. And it fit in one of these too. Now, I have been using a lot of boxes in here. So you can fit, I think it's a 4x4 box. You can fit it in here. So if you have jewelry or mugs, they'll fit in here very nicely with a box. And if I don't have a box, I will take apart a box. And I will just put a nice little sleeve all around it. I'll encase that mug all around it and make sure it's covered in a nice sturdy cardboard. Put something on top, foam, anything like that, the pillows, all of that. So definitely when you can save money with the shipping, do it with that flat rate. That's what I do anyway. eBay and Etsy, but you don't list the same items on both. Yeah, I tend to do some of that as well. I tend to save a lot of vintage items like jewelry, vintage jewelry items for Etsy, or little quirky things like, maybe an old ceramic pot, or even the mugs. I have sold some mugs on Etsy, but I have sold them more on eBay. So I've kind of waned a little bit off of listing mugs over on Etsy. I'm sticking to mostly jewelry there. I still have vintage handbags, vintage accessories, that kind of thing on Etsy. But yeah, and then I have two eBay stores. I gave one to my daughter. We're still kind of building that one up. We've done, I think that's where we sold these. We're still kind of making it an emporium of everything. We even changed the name. One of my eBay stores is still Thelma Thrift, and then she has the other one. And that's kind of a flea market. Everything goes. And then the other one, I had mostly wanted to do fashion, but I even got away from that. I really did, because I kind of figured that it would never be what is. Like the girl was telling me that, it's a niche that she's picked up. Her customers know that this is what she has, and she basically buys for them. That is what she told me. She said, I'm basically their buyer. They know that this is what I do. They don't have access to, designer clothing at discount prices, at giveaway, prices, because they're pre-owned. But I can get them because I live in an area where it's an urban area, cosmopolitan, Houston, huge area. Get them what they need, so they come to my. And I came to realize that eBay is not really going to be that for me. I may have favorites and whatnot, but it's not going to be something that I'm going to like. I know that she's always going to have this, or he's going to, have the latest in boots or whatever. So I guess you get to know that again, though. Try them all out. I know Elizabeth actually hasn't tried selling online yet, but I would try Liz for jewelry. I would try Macari first for anything vintage, like, your listener and your, if you were to find some Thelma Deutsch or something like that, put it on Etsy first. You will get a top dollar there for it. You really will, but don't neglect eBay. There's still people who are hunting on eBay for that as well. Native American pieces, I'm always going everywhere, because I want to find something that's vintage, authentically Native American. You really have to scrutinize those as well. There's so many new things coming out. Someone pointed out a really good point. I don't remember even where it was. I don't remember if it was on Sandy's channel or whose, but it really was succinct, and it was saying how you can tell a vintage Native American piece very quickly, mostly by the weight of the ring. The rings, like this one that I'm wearing, is from the 70s, and I bought it from a trading post at the mall where it was Native American pieces. And the weight of the silver, even the weight that they used, was different. It's just not the same. And you have to really look through those listings to see what you're looking at, because there's so many modern pieces. Yes, they may be Native American, they may be a cottage industry, Native American people that are making them, but they're not the same. So the vintage things will garner so much more money when you do find, that beautiful blue turquoise in that wonderful heavy metal setting. Price it up, because you will get it. Don't be afraid to, put $100 on it, $200, because that's what they're garnering. Everybody else, of course, you're going to sell it. You put it up at $50, somebody puts it up at $20. Of course, they're going to sell it, but don't fall prey to, oh, it's selling on eBay, so it's worth $50. It's only selling because that's what somebody listed it for, but that doesn't mean that it's the same thing. Similar and the same is quite a different story. And don't ever compare what you're actually seeing for sale or what's sold till you know exactly the condition, the type. Is it inspired? Is it genuine? And then you can compare your pricing strategy that way. No, vintage things are going to get you more money if you ask for it. If you don't, you're going to sell it, no problem at all. It's definitely going to sell. All right. If there are no other questions, that was just a quick little A-listers I wanted to bring to you guys about the multi-listing platforms, how they are a help, but they can be a hindrance as well. How there is definitely a niche that we should go after on Posh, but bear in mind what you're putting on Posh, because people are not really going to go over there and buy a little tiny piece of jewelry from you when they have to pay $10 more for taxes and shipping. It's not going to happen. So again, you can kind of help yourself with offering bundles. Be sure and tell them that you do bundle so that, you know, they can save on shipping and all of that. But then that's where you're going to feel that open door at Etsy and eBay, because you can and Macari, because you can choose to print your own label and charge them a reasonable price for shipping. So just again, like they were saying here, certain things will be listed here, certain things will be listed there, and you'll be all the better for it. And yes, the multi-listing platforms are wonderful, but how much putting into putting that same shit on Macari and on Etsy and on eBay, when maybe you'll get more eyes on eBay. Maybe everybody wants to look for Adidas on eBay, or the shipping is much cheaper on Macari, so just stick them up on Macari. They'll sell in a week. It's probably what I should have done, because these took a while to sell on eBay. All right, so I think that's going to be it for tonight. I'll do a jewelry jar in a little while. I'm going to record it so we can make it nice and short, and I will put it up in the morning. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for my kind of chit chat show. It's called Heart to Heart with Thelma and Friends. I hope to see you tomorrow night here at this channel. These Adidas, and I have a lot of these kinds of shoes, guys. These are 8s. These are a men's 8. These are a men's 8, and I have probably 15 more pairs of his fabulous shoes. And I was telling my son that he's a sneakerhead, right? So he bought a lot of these shoes that didn't even fit him, because probably they were like the last pair of, I guess, or Air Jordans or whatever was the latest thing going on. He would buy them and leave them in the closet like brand new, because there's no way he could have worn an 8, a 10, and a 7. There's just no way. But he was, you know, he was into definitely collecting the sneakers. So I have quite a few of them, and really nice ones, and I've sold quite a few. I invested $400 in that closet. I've already tripled my money. They have been listed for over a year, though, so different things. And then he had wrestling shirts, and I made, I think, $85 on one wrestling shirt. So it was a good investment. It really was. I was really, and I kept telling him to sell it, but he never did. You got to have the motivation to do it, right? He never did. Oh, these sold for $49. These sold for $49 on eBay, but I think I had them for $59 and even $69. I was slowly reducing them, and then I took a best offer. Yeah. So I'll see y'all tomorrow, guys. Have a wonderful week, and have a good night. Bye-bye.